What is the best class in PvP for Diablo Immortal? Now, I want everybody to be a little objective about this. I know there's wizards out there that say that they destroy demon hunters all day. There's demon hunters that say that they destroy wizards all day. And I know this is going to be different depending on what class you play and how you've seen your battlegrounds go so far. I'm going to give you my full and honest review on what barbarians can do in battlegrounds all the way up to in-game barbarians. You let me know if I'm right or wrong. I'm basing all this off of my experience doing BGs for 2 hours every single day because I love to do it, win or lose. I'm free to play, so I don't always win, but I don't always lose. Sometimes I'm in some good matches. And I have seen from my point of view that range classes are far superior. And I do think the wizard, as far as control goes and damage and then like sealing off those choke points, is an insane class for PvP in Diablo Immortal. I also think that necromancers have very good viability when it comes to different classes they can make for PvP. Their fears are long as hell. They have the pillar that comes out of the ground that can knock you up. They have ways to control the fight to where they can put you in a bone ring. There are lots of things a necromancer can do with all the slows, all the pets if they want to go the pet route, which are very annoying. And again, range damage. Demon hunters, really superior mobile range damage. Again, a good amount of CC as well. Although the CC here with the wizard, the slows, the freeze, along with the black orb that you can either put out there as a black orb, or you can get the augment that will let it, kind of drift out. And then whenever anybody's caught in between that, it will suck them into it and then have you up in the air for 3 seconds. Necromancer's fear is about 3 seconds as well. We've got stuns over here they can do with their wolves and knock you back. I'm sure they have some other abilities as well. Now, melee. There are some really good in-game crusaders. Crusaders can be built quite a few different ways. They can do the shield rush all around. They can do the horse if they want to do draw and quarter with the sword coming out with that. They have shields that they can throw. They can do a lot of cool stuff that I've seen. And I've seen some good crusaders. I've seen some good monks. If I had to just base everybody off of tiers, here's what I'd tell you right now. Wizard, demon hunters, and necromancers are up here. All the melee classes are down here. Now, I do believe monk has its place. It's really good single target damage. It's got some other crazy abilities to stay on target. And they can be immune to CC, which is huge. And I do think crusaders are super tanky. They can be very annoying and be like a really good bruiser. Barbarians are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to doing damage, getting kills, and really just affecting the whole flow of the battleground. Remember, this is a battleground. We need to go take out the idols. We need to escort the idols, and then we need to kill the heart if we're on attack. If we're on defense, we need to stop them from killing the idols and get as many kills in as we can to get those 55 kills, or run out the clock and then stop them from walking down the idols. Barbarians, when I come in there and I do my whirlwind, I do my vortex whirlwind that pulls them in. I'm always trying to go in front of the DPS so that I can vortex people in, and then the DPS behind me, all those 3 ranged classes, can do a crazy amount of damage and get the kills. I'm just trying to disrupt the flow. Whether I'm using a charge, whether I'm using the full gladiator tree, Paragon tree at Paragon level 50, you get a full gladiator tree. We'll talk about that, how it benefits ranged people way more than it benefits somebody that's melee who needs to get up in the mix. When you're melee and you get up in the mix, all these other classes that I talked about will hard CC you. That's talking about knockups, freeze, fears, stuns, to where you cannot do anything. And they can chain that. This game does not have diminishing return on CCs. I wish it did. I hope it does for everybody, because I feel like everybody needs that. Or we need to, every time that you're CC'd, you have a 1 second to where you can do an ability before you're CC'd again. 1 second immunity every time you're hit with a hard CC. That will just basically, it blacks out all your skills and you sit there because all those range classes are playing how they're supposed to be, right? Ranged is on the outside of the battle. And if you're a smart ranged player, that's how you play, right? You're on the outside part, you're doing your damage in, you're making sure that you keep moving back unless you get trained. Like if you get trained and run down by a whole group of mobs coming in of players, what can you do? Everybody's gonna die in that situation or get really hard crowd controlled to where they can't do anything. We know that. But normal ranged will be out in the outskirts. And when they have the gladiator tree And every 20 seconds or every 30 seconds, if they don't have it on cooldown, they can ignore one crowd control, just like I can as a barbarian. But as a barbarian, I go into the mix. As a monk, you're in the mix, although monk has some other cooler abilities to ignore crowd control. Crusader's a bit tankier, right, and can last out a little bit longer, but they're still going to get permanently crowd controlled, and they're going to get killed. Because the ranged guys are all back there in the range, and they've got the same gladiator tree that we have. So when they get hit with that CC out on the outskirts, they ignore that one every 20 seconds or 30 seconds if they don't have it on cooldown in the Paragon tree. And then they have the unkillable as well, the undying, like I have as a barbarian. I have it as well. I have full gladiator tree on my barbarian. So I have the unkillable part of the gladiator tree. I have my own unkillable every 30 seconds for 4.6 seconds. I can't die. The problem is I can't do any damage as a barbarian. There is no execute. There's no real damage if I'm going to have the mobility I need and if I'm going to have the way to kind of vortex in and pull people off of doing their channel ability. So as a barbarian, whenever a mage does a beam, or whenever a crusader comes in and is riding his mount, or anybody doing anything that's a channeled ability, I'll pull them off of that, right? I'll group them up, I'll pull them off of that. I hope you've kept in mind this whole time, we're talking about every class with the same exact resonance and the same exact combat rating. So if you've seen somebody go ham and you're like, oh man, I've seen this class go crazy. Well, it could be because they have so much more resonance than you. Their combat rating could be higher too, but if that resonance is higher, 2,000, 1,000, if you're at 200, that's going to be a huge difference. If they're 2,000, 2,700, and you're at like 300, it's a crazy difference. So I'm talking about these all classes equal off of your experience in Battlegrounds and what you've seen. So for me, I really do consider Barbarian far, far down on the totem pole, well underneath everybody else. I consider mages extremely strong if you know how to keep them going, keep them alive, do the bottlenecking. If you know about the bottleneck, after you've taken out whatever team you're on, if you're the attacking team and you've taken out the 3 first idols, and then you all spawn, no matter what, you all spawn in the middle. Now, if the opposing team drops down right below that where you're all spawning in, they can bottleneck you there, and the range classes will do that. The melee classes aren't going to bottleneck you at that point. It's the ranged classes that are going to keep doing that and keep them there. And wizards are exceptional at this. Necromancers are great at it. Demon hunters are good at it. And they're all long-ranged damage dealer. So to keep that bottleneck going, you don't need monks or barbarians running in there or crusaders running in right when they're spawning. All you need is that long range on those 2 sides where they're trying to get to the 2 idols to run them down the lanes, right where you spawn in and you try to go to the 2 idols. That really should have 2 lanes where you spawn, and we should be able to get to those idols a little bit differently. Maybe they'll adjust it. But I feel overall, not to make this video last forever, that the range classes have such a far superior advantage because of all the amount of control that's going on. It's crazy. You will just get chained seed, non-stop chained seed on any of these melee classes. But I want to know your opinions. I want to know your opinions from you running your necromancer, you running your demon hunter, and all the rest. But keep in mind, I really want to know an opinion that isn't too crazy based off of you getting run down by somebody who has much higher resonance than you. There are always going to be players out there that have higher resonance. So even if you're at the 2,000, 2,700, you should be up in legendary status, gold 2, gold 3 if you play often. So you should be up there facing people that are more toward what you are at. But I'm a free-to-play barbarian. I'm 52 Paragon level. I could be higher, but I'm playing a lot of alts. I have a necromancer coming up. I have a wizard at 52 coming up, 52 normal, not Paragon yet. So I'm saving my experience on my barbarian and playing that and gaining levels as I play my barbarian daily, easily, and then I'm jumping over to an alt, and I'm bringing up my wizard. My wizard's going to be the first one I get to 60. I'm going to start PvPing as a free-to-play wizard on par with my free-to-play barbarian and see how it affects the battle. See if I can make more of an impact with a free-to-play wizard as opposed to a free-to-play barbarian. And I know I can. I mean, I just know absolutely I can make a much bigger impact in the game in Battlegrounds. So you guys let me know down below, what do you think? If you've made it this far and you want to play the game and you're not sure which class you want to pick, especially if you love PvP, well, you should know by now. Wizard, Demon Hunter, or Necro. Pick one of those. I think you're going to have a great time going through the game, leveling everything. And then you'll have a great time with a Crusader, a Monk, and a Barbarian because they're fun as hell to play in PvE. And these other two are actually not bad at all in PvP. Although, again, I feel like with the amount of CC out there, crowd control, that they just lack compared to all the ranged. But you let me know your thoughts below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I appreciate your time. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all in a video soon.